is In the Know for Wednesday, March 12, the 71st day, 2025. There are 294 days left in the year. Good morning, MB. Guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 1039 The Moose. Live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. On Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. SEC tournament gets underway tonight. Cougar basketball season comes to an end last night. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's B. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I've been extremely productive.
You are in need of getting your real ID, not for the purposes of because you have to have a real ID, but because you need you need to take care of something, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, the reason that I'm telling you this is because the deadline for real ID is now looming. Finally, May 7th is the date, which means a lot of people who don't have passports and need to get on airplanes or federal buildings or on military bases are now finally rushing to get theirs. So just expect for things to be a little bit busier between now and May 7th if you're trying to get your, say, driver's license renewed or your real ID, and don't forget the vision screening aspect. So it's just going to be busy at the regional driver's licensing offices between now and the deadline on May 7. So if you got a passport, then you're fine to fly and that type of thing. But it could be problematic for those who do not. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
I'm tired. How about you?
Yeah, I can imagine you are tired. Tired now without the benefit of optimism.
I guess that's a way to put it.
You, at least you're tired before you were running on some adrenaline, like, hey, exciting time, etc. But the Cougars came up, I guess, basically just a quarter short last night, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a tough one for them. Davis County, a lot of credit goes to them. They played really well, and I don't know that they missed a shot in the second half. At least it felt that way. They just played an extremely good game, and I mean, listen, what a year for Grayson, though.
Sure, yeah, without a doubt. I think one of the biggest differences maybe in the game last night compared to 3 weeks ago was Watkins was able to stay on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely played a factor, but also, I mean, it's sometimes that's basketball. Davis County's a really good team, and the way that you were going to beat them 3 weeks ago, and I'm not saying that that's how Grayson County was trying to beat them this time, is it just didn't work. And I mean, listen, they played really well. They're a really good team, and it's tough to beat a really good team multiple times, and sometimes it's just as simple as that.
Did I got the so I listened. I was doing it the old-fashioned way. I got the sense that maybe we tightened up a little bit down the stretch when they were able to kind of stretch the lead out a little bit. Maybe we pressed a little bit trying to – I heard you say one time there's no 9-point play, and so maybe we kind of were feeling the pressure, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking right now. Davis County, I looked, and I wasn't really joking. They shot 60% from the field, 57% from three-point range. I mean, their best player shot 77% from the field. So it
makes a big difference.
Yeah, and that's just how it goes. So I mean, it's what a great season for Grayson County because they have a lot to be extremely proud of. I mean, they tied their record for their most wins in a single season. Got the win in the region tournament. As Coach Johnston mentioned last night, he said, Grayson County doesn't win in the region tournament often. It's not like that's a every year thing. They've won region tournament games, but it's not like in the 51-year history, it's every year they win at least a region tournament game.
Right. typically, and you would probably do the math, but I have the sensation that when we win games in the regional tournament, we're most likely on our way to a regional final. Like, rarely is it a semifinal exit. It's either we're good enough to get to the finals and
See,
perhaps
not,
beyond.
not really, because until last
No?
night, Grayson County had never lost in the region finals. They were 3-0.
Oh, well, I guess that's what I meant was we typically, once we get to the finals, we typically are on our way beyond that, but we rarely even get to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably. I mean, they've made it to the semifinals. Looking here at my spreadsheet, maybe about 10 times total.
Okay.
So, but again, so 10 times in 51 years. That's less than 20%. But they've got a lot to be really proud of. And listen, tip your cap to Davis County. They're a really, really good basketball team. And sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. Is that they're a really good basketball team, and it just wasn't the Cougars' night.
So I peeked in. I should mention this too. I did peek into closed circuit of our coverage during the first half just to kind of get an idea. And can I say, you correct me if I'm wrong, but the sensation I got, and this is not a phrase that I use frequently, but Grayson County showed out. I mean, the Sports Center, and you could tell it was loud on our coverage too. There was a sea of orange last night.
Yeah, there was a great Grayson County contingency. What I didn't like is that where we were sitting and where our cameras were all directed towards the Davis County side, just because that's how they lined it up. So if you were watching, you didn't always get that, or what's the word I'm looking for? That feeling that it was as many Grayson County people there as it was. And I know a couple of times we cut to some cameras that showed the crowd, but it was just a massive crowd of Grayson County fans, and Davis County had a bunch too. I mean, as they should. It was a 10-minute drive for most of them.
Down the street, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not meaning
I
that as a
should
shot. It just
also
was.
say that on the audio coverage, if you focus on the audio, I think you'll hear that the Grayson County cheers were as loud as the Davis County cheers, and giving you an indication of the representation. So, anyways, a good showing. I know a lot of people made the trip down the Parkway and down 165. Also, we got other things to cover, but I guess what I heard called the core three. Young.
The big three.
You're losing a lot. You're losing a lot of experience, but the future is certainly bright. So long as you got number 24 on your roster, especially. Yeah,
Jack's. I mean, he's already the second all-time leading scorer in program history, and I think his head coach is starting to sweat a little bit. But even as his head coach has told me many times, he hopes he shatters it, because if he shatters it, that probably means he's going to win a lot of games as a head coach. And right now, that's his main mentality. But I think Jack right now he's going to enter next year probably, I think, about 550 points away from being the all-time leading scorer. So we'll be on all-time leading score watch. Jack will also next year have the chance to break Keegan Sharp's record for career threes made. So they're next year could be a record-breaking year. And as Steven said last night, he thinks that there's a pretty good chance that they're back there last night, and maybe the roles are reversed.
I thought, too, at the end of the half when Jack hit that three, I thought it was a statement three. To go up three at the half, I thought, okay, if we just play the next half like we played this one, then we're in good shape. But just wasn't meant to be last night. So it is officially 100% spring sports season at Grayson County High School. We've been split between the two for the last several days, but all in on spring sports as sunny and warm weather continues today. We're going to see sunny with highs in the 70s. The record is 78, so we could get to that today. We'll see increasing clouds tonight, an overnight low of 54, scattered thunderstorms, and a high of 76 for tomorrow. Sam, I want to tell you also something that happened. I need to tell you when we get into segment B, but it's something relative to the game and the coverage last night, that it was a crisis narrowly averted. So remind me if I don't get back to it. President Trump's back and forth. It was a game of, I think you likened it to a game of Pong last night. There was a game of Pong yesterday between Canada and the Trump administration on the tariffs, on who was raising what and who was lowering what, and it looked just kind of like a tennis match, but we're now where we were about 48 hours ago. Grayson County Sheriff Norman Chafin says an impaired Grayson County woman with a small child in her vehicle has been jailed after a motorist assist police in locating the suspect. The incident began Monday afternoon about 3:25 when the sheriff's office was alerted to an erratic driver. A witness said the driver in question, a 62-year-old Rose Green of Falls of Rough, would stop in the middle of the road and change direction several times. That's according to the sheriff. She would speed up and slow down and also ran off the roadway a couple of times. The witness also said there was a small child in the vehicle. Sheriff Javins responded to the call, made contact with the vehicle on Duff Road. He said he observed her run off the roadway, cross completely in the opposite lane at the crest of a hill on a blind curve. He activated his blue lights. She drove in the center of the roadway, pulled into a gravel lot, made contact with her, saw there was a child in the back seat, struggled to perform a sobriety test, and you might imagine what happened from there. It's arrest and processed, et cetera. A Litchfield man has been, and just in case you don't read the story at K105.com, a family member got the child, so the child was safe from there. A Litchfield man has pled guilty to killing an Illinois woman in Breckinridge County. 43-year-old Gregory McCreary pled guilty to first-degree manslaughter yesterday, just prior to the start of his murder trial in Breckinridge County. McCreary killed 42-year-old Dewan Atwell in May of 2021. First-degree manslaughter is a Class B felony, punishable by no less than 10 years in prison and no more than 20 years. This goes back to a death on May 27 of 2021 after deputies located a deceased female on Highway 259 South, just north of McDaniels. The deceased was later identified as Atwell from Bloomington, Illinois. The police department there had issued missing person, and they connected the dots, et cetera. So guilty plea there. 2 more children in Kentucky have died from influenza. Officials with the Kentucky Department for Public Health have announced 2 additional children have died from the flu, 1 from the Barren River Health District and 1 child from the Jefferson County, meaning 3 children have now died from flu this season. With just 3 days left before the General Assembly goes into its 10-day veto recess, they've had a flurry of action in both chambers this week, and it includes a measure in the Senate to lower the minimum age for concealed carry and lowering the age at which a driver's permit can be issued. Senate Bill 75, sponsored by Aaron Reed of Shelbyville, would lower the age requirement for carrying a concealed deadly weapon from 21 to 18. He said, in representing the bill, the question before us is simple. Should responsible, law-abiding 18-year-olds be allowed to exercise their Second Amendment right to self-defense? He said, I believe the answer is unequivocally yes. He said that it's not just illogical, that it's unjust. The Second Amendment is clear, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So you might imagine people from the other side of the political argument say, well, but we have so much gun violence already in our community, then, should we? I don't think those two things are tethered, by the way. I am for treating whatever symptoms are causing us to have too much gun violence in our society. I don't think it's necessarily an age thing. I think it's a sin and behavioral thing, and so if we can treat those things, then I am fine. But I do think it's a little bit inconsistent. I have always understood the argument that if you're old enough to die for our country, you should have the same rights as anyone in our country, and we draft people to the age of 18, but we don't let them drink alcohol until they're age 21. So we are and I'm not lobbying to say change it to 21, but we clearly are talking out both sides of our mouth on some issues as it relates to should you be 21, should you be 18, et cetera. I'm not an expert and not advocating for one or the other. We did find out that another measure cleared the Senate was House Bill 15. It lowers the age from 16 to 15 on the minimum age at which someone can get their learner's permit for driving. I know you all talked about that while I was gone and talked the virtues of that, but it sounds like it's moving forward. I didn't realize until you all were having the discussion, then I read up on it a little bit. I didn't realize that we're in such the gross minority in our country on the age in which you can get your permit. So it sounds like it's likely for us to lower that age. The Office of the State Budget Director reported yesterday that February's general fund receipts declined 3% compared to February of last year, while road fund receipts increased by almost 6% compared to a year ago. Louisville, the community of Louisville, lost what I would call an icon and a major philanthropic force. Junior Bridgman, the businessman and basketball standout for Louisville, and then with the Milwaukee Bucks, has passed at age 71. I saw an unofficial report that maybe it had some type of medical incident at an event. and that had led to his passing. He was a popular fixture in Louisville after his playing days. Mayor Greenberg said the city has lost a kind, generous, and groundbreaking legend. So he got his education at Louisville, played in the NBA, and then at one point in time, I think he owned 450 different locations of Wendy's and Chili's in 20 states. He was a bottler for Coca-Cola. I didn't know that Junior Bridgman bought Ebony and Jet magazines at some point in time. I did know, and what I know him most famously and most recently for, is he's part of the four that own Valhalla, that bought Valhalla from the PGA and were operating that. But he sat on the board of U of L, Fifth Third Bank, Churchill Downs, etc. So you can't live in the city of Louisville and not know who Junior Bridgman was. And they have lost him at age 71. I also learned yesterday that it's surely, I won't count him out because you've never counted Tiger Woods out in his career, but he did announce yesterday that he's ruptured his Achilles tendon, an injury that will keep him out of the Masters. The story said that most likely keep him out of the Masters. I mean, an Achilles injury. Aaron Rodgers recovered very quickly, but it still took months and months. The Masters is April 10th through the 13th, so Tiger Woods is out of the Masters, and I would not be surprised if Tiger Woods' playing career is not over. He might play once a year at the Masters or something and get out there and kind of take the ceremonial round.
He's going to pull. Isn't he going to pull LeBron?
No, I don't know. He's part animatronic and part human. I mean, he's just got so many.
How old is Charlie now?
Spinal fusion. Charlie is, I guess, 18 or something like that. He's playing in on the junior circuit. So I don't know. I mean, they might play together on. That's the thing about golfers. I mean, Freddie Couples is still out there, but he doesn't play competitively weekly. But
He's
he still
16.
shows up for the Masters. Charlie's 16.
Yes.
So, I mean, they're already playing in events together. You don't typically have match play or team play on the normal PGA Tour. So I think there's a way for them to do the LeBron and Bronny without it being on the PGA Tour. But Tiger, his body has just taken a beating throughout his career because of the torque generated from his swing and the longevity. He's had a long playing career. So I hate to see it. I hate the idea of Tiger not playing competitively because he's obviously my favorite golfer of all time and a game changer. I mean, just completely changed the landscape of golf. So I hate to see it come to an end. But as the adage goes, all good things eventually do come to an end. So hopefully Tiger recovers quickly from his Achilles tear. We got to get to a break. Got plenty more on the way. We've got some tips for the frugal, people who are a little frugal. We'll talk about that. And Southwest Airlines has upset some people. You want to know what they did? We'll tell you. Coming up here on In the Know.
At Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield, Dr. Priyank Chauhan provides compassionate care for adults and seniors. Board certified in internal and geriatric medicine, he's dedicated to managing chronic conditions, preserving independence, and enhancing the quality of life. Proudly serving Grayson County because your health matters. Schedule today. Call Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield at 270-259-8888.
The mobile unit from Intensive Health brings trusted, high-quality addiction treatment right to your community. Serving 5 counties, including Grayson, our innovative services offer telehealth treatment, mental health counseling, medical health assessments, primary care, and general medical services. We also offer hepatitis C and HIV screenings and treatment. No more long travels for essential care. We are discreet and accessible. Visit intensivehealth.com to find out more. A StepWorks recovery service.
Every child deserves to feel safe, heard, and loved. Right now, there are children in our community facing tough times, and they need someone to stand by their side. That someone could be you.
My name is Misty, and I'm the 4-H Extension Agent from LaRue County, and I'm a proud CASA volunteer.
My name is Debbie Childress, and I'm the Executive Director of the Grayson County Alliance, and I'm a proud CASA volunteer.
My name is Kitty Smith. I am a proud CASA volunteer from Meade County. You can be a CASA too.
It only takes a few hours a month to make a lasting impact. Your voice can help a child find hope and stability during the most difficult moments. Visit CASAHeartland.org or call us today to learn more. Help us build brighter futures one child at a time.
Ever feel like your home could use a fresh touch, but your wallet says otherwise? Discover hidden treasures at Thrift Therapy, where style meets savings. From chic apparel in all sizes to unique home decor and furniture, you'll find everything to refresh your look and space without breaking the bank. Located behind the car wash in Litchfield, Thrift Therapy, because everyone deserves a little retail therapy. Open Wednesday through Friday 10 to 5, Saturdays 10 to 4, behind the car wash in Litchfield.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start March 17th. Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, College for the Real World.
Presto Phoenix has partnered with Galarni Group, the parent company of Wiener Schnitzel, to provide voice AI ordering technology at Wiener Schnitzel's drive-thru windows nationwide. Wiener Schnitzel has 35 locations using Presto's voice AI technology and plans to continue to supply Wiener Schnitzel's 350 franchise and corporate drive-thru locations with the technology in 2025. Integrated circuit manufacturer Parade Technologies is acquiring a majority of the assets of semiconductor maker Spectra 7 Microsystems. Assets include intellectual property, products, designs, and inventory. A number of Spectra 7's employees will also join Parade Technology to ensure continuity during the sale. The agreement positions Parade Technologies to increase its global leadership in high-speed connectivity solutions. And the Trump administration is in talks with 4 groups about a potential TikTok sale. There's less than a month until a ban on the social media app is set to go into effect. President Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One Sunday that there could be a deal soon. Tech Report, I'm Mark Mayfield.
Today is Working Moms Day. Today, working moms celebrate themselves by sharing their stories of resilience and celebrating other working moms. It is World Day Against Cyber Censorship. It is Girl Scout Day. It's Plant a Flower Day. You're a big fan of that, aren't you?
I am.
It's Milky Way Day. My dad's a big fan.
Yes,
The
he
Milky
is.
Way chocolate bar was created in 1923 and named after a popular milkshake of the day. I didn't know that's how it was named.
Nor did I.
It is Baked Scallops Day. You also like to plant flowers and you enjoy a good baked scallop.
But yeah,
You like scallops?
yes, I
Yeah,
do.
I thought you did.
Big fan.
The way you paused, I thought, no,
No, I mean, they don't have to be baked. They can be.
They can be whatever kind.
They can, you can just throw them. Yes.
All right.
I'm good.
You are, you're not the most frugal person in the world, but you're relatively frugal, fair to say?
Sure.
Yeah. And you like a good bargain,
I do.
fair to say? So you can never have too many money-saving tips. So there's a Reddit thread that asked the question, what frugal or cheap thing will you do no matter your finances? You know, if you said, oh, well, I mean, I don't have to count or worry and pinch pennies, but these are still things that I do. One person said, I'll always use the library to borrow audio or Kindle books. Check to see if your local library participates in the Libby app, this says. Do you know the Libby app?
I don't. Yes, I know of it.
This person said, I easily read or listen to about $4,000 worth of books a year. Now,
Wow, that's
we
a
did
lot.
Also,
Yeah, I
it
didn't
is a
know that.
lot, especially if you're paying the big, well-known name bookstore price versus the. You showed me some bookstores that I didn't know existed,
I'm telling you.
right? And also teaching our grandson, you don't have to pay retail for
That's
books.
right.
This person said only subscribe. By the way, we have a great library, so use it, take advantage of it, and it's a way if you're a reader instead of buying the books, and they will find stuff for you. You know,
So
like
I hesitated. That's not what ours
It's not
is
the one
called.
we use?
But yes, there is a lending library that is the e-versions.
Okay.
So that was my only hesitation.
This person said, only subscribe to one streaming service at a time. Once I sign up, I immediately cancel and use it until the month is up. If there are still a few things I want to watch, I'll go another month. If not, I move on to the new one. That sounds like the Sam Gormley approach.
There's some that I keep though.
You do keep them, and then but you scale a lot of them back during sports season when you just don't have time.
I try to. Yeah, like right now. I mean, now I guess it lightens up a little bit, but
This person said save and reuse gift bags and tissue paper.
Oh yeah.
I do that with gift bags. Absolutely.
I thought that was obvious. Like, who's throwing away a good gift bag? This person says, and this is hard for me too. I'll never pay to withdraw my own money from a cash machine. It would have to be life or death before I even paid $1. For some reason, I'm not cheap at all, but for some reason, it insults me to have to use an ATM and pay a fee.
It does me as
It's
well.
just like, this is ludicrous.
Right.
Does that just doesn't it just go in the tallest banker we know's pocket?
Well, the tallest banker and I, the tallest banker you know and I have argued about this. That it's like I need you to have an ATM in the western hemisphere of your coverage area.
Oh,
You know, I'm like, come on.
I
I
mean,
don't wanna
you mean
have to go-
he can't? Can't you just go up to him and just take his money and that counts the same?
It's a pretty good idea. How many TVs did he have to install yesterday? By the way, after I pledged.
Oh, I
Was
don't.
it a bunch?
I don't know, but I do know that he did sign more water bottles.
Oh,
course.
Mom.
Did he sign just the the big team water jug?
Yeah, he
you know,
signed.
the
I
one
think
that
it
said
was.
Igloo?
I think it was poor Kim Langdon that got the.
Listen, I feel so sorry for Heather.
Kim Langdon knows. Kim Langdon knows better than that.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was honor or.
Just go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know that she's quite displaying it on the mantle like Monica was.
I always make sure to meal prep. It's such a small effort up front, but it saves me a lot of time and money throughout the week. Plus, it helps me avoid those tempting fast food runs. Even in the case of, and I help some, I don't help a lot. You are the primary person who preps Gertie's meals, but it saves so much time in the evening. It's like, okay, time to feed the dog, and it's just right there ready to go, and it's easy.
And I actually broke it down, and it is cheaper.
Yeah, without a doubt. This person said they added 5 eyes in the middle. Thrift.
Yes.
Said if I've got a buttload of money, maybe I'd frequent the higher end vintage stores, but I love thrifting, according to this person. Another person said get water instead of soda when eating out, both because it's outrageous to pay $3 to $4 for a glass of soda and to cut out extra calories. I will tell you, I look at receipts now and I glance and see what they're charging for a drink,
It's stupid.
and I go, really? I mean, I think a 2-liter is ridiculously expensive anymore primarily because of the weight, and anything that's heavy and costs money to haul around because of the expense of fuel and energy costs has gone up recently. So I go look at a 2-liter and I go, $3 for a 2-liter? That's ridiculous. But when I see $3.50 for a glass of tea or for I go, are you for real?
I can.
I remember in the day when tea was just barely cost more than water.
Especially when it is you know, like at least it makes somewhat sense if you're at like McDonald's or something, because the cup and the lid and the straw at least cost something. But if you're at a restaurant where it's a glass cup, they're reusing that cup, so there's no extra cost for them except what's going to put into the dishwasher, and it's not like that costs them any money.
Well, and I will tell you that I'm all for any business making money. Businesses have to make money or businesses don't exist. So it's not that I'm begrudging that at all. But it is clear how much labor cost they have hidden in the drink.
Oh yeah.
So people look at entrees and go, "Oh, I'm not going to pay more than $7.99 for that," and it may cost them $7.99. So they're saying, "Well, we'll just hide it in the drink cost," and so it's silly.
Well, and I'm proud because it's not something that we have done. But the two, I can't say as far as the oldest, but the two younger ones, they choose to order water 90% of the time. And it's not because when they were little, or, well, one is still little, oh, well, you need to order water or whatever. It wasn't like that. That's what they choose. But that part of me, the frugal part of me, goes, yay.
Until recently, she's been in kids' meals, so the drinks just bundled in, and it doesn't really matter. But she's Alea is a water drinker now, unless Mama has tea, and then it's like she wants to drink that until it's empty.
Yes.
She's gotten onto a big sweet tea kick too.
Well, yes, but yes.
This is something you do. This is not something you do all of the time, and I don't know that this is frugality in play. I think this is maybe failure to acquire new. But it says add water to the end of the shampoo, conditioner, or body wash to get that one last wash.
I do it every time.
You do it every time, but is it a financial thing or is it I forgot to order new?
No, it's a financial thing.
Okay.
I usually have my next round sitting in the cabinet, but at the cost,
Yours is expensive.
my products are a little bit expensive. And I will get the very last drop out of those, out of the dish detergent. If there is a way to add water, shake it up, and get more, it's going to happen.
So mine, the equivalent of mine, is the last one on the list, and it's the toothpaste. And I think I just learned that from my mother because we laugh about my mother. She would slice the toothpaste tube open, like down the side, and then get all the toothpaste out of the inside of it. I don't know if she did that all the time. I've seen it done before. But you don't seem to be as insistent on the toothpaste where I am not worried about the...
Have you forgotten years ago when I put the plastic scoocher upper thing on the toothpaste tube and you were just like meh about it? Okay, yeah. So when you were not going to use that and you were still just going to squeeze it, why bother?
Well, I was doing it effectively without the scoocher.
Okay.
I felt like, or at least that's the way the Tita Mama raised me to be. It's maybe not. I don't know. Speaking of frugality, I think one of the reasons that Southwest Airlines has become such a player in the airline travel space is because they seem to be maybe not the most frugal option. I think you could do Spirit and some of the JetBlue and some of those airlines that, like charge you $0.25 to recline your seat and that type of thing, where they just nickel and dime you. But Southwest has been in a space where, especially because of the free baggage, that they treat you like cattle, which I didn't like in the beginning, but I've learned to get used to it. It's just easy. You just like get in line, find your seat. Here's how it works. Two check bags free, etc. Or they call it free. Included in the fare is the way that I would like to refer to it. But they announced last fall they're doing away with the non-assigned seating. They decided that they were going to do some premium leg room to be able, if you want to pay for a better experience than you could, etc. They're not doing that until later this year, maybe even early next year, but they took a long time in order to roll that out. But then they announced yesterday they would start charging passengers for checking in their baggage in a bid to boost revenue, ending a long-running free baggage policy that served as a core part of the low-cost carrier's identity. And so you might imagine people completely losing their minds over it that were loyal to Southwest. I agree a little bit because I think that there are lots of good options to fly Southwest. Southwest flies direct routes places that you can't get other carriers to go. And my loyalty is to American Airlines, but I use Southwest more than any because they just run back and forth to places we travel to a lot. Well, I think it's that convenience of route and their affordability that has led them to be a primary player, especially in the Southeast United States and the Southwest United States that they grew from as well. But when they start charging for baggage, it just makes you scrutinize the purchase a little bit more and start putting a pencil to it and go, well, am I actually saving money here? And I don't know. You'll be able to pay to be an A-lister, and you'll still get one bag covered in your fare. So they're taking a step closer to the other carriers, and will it make them just blend in with the other carriers? I do not know. But by comparison, they do charge for baggage fees when it's more than 2 or overweight, et cetera. They earned $73 million from baggage fees in 2023, $62 million through the first 3 quarters of last year. To give you by comparison, American made more than $1.35 billion. The CEO says this is a move it has to keep them viable to protect their future, but if it forces people to other carriers, then I don't know. I think their routing is good enough that they go enough places that people want to go. You can say you don't. It's like, oh, that baggage thing, I'm not doing it. I think you do it in the end. Yeah, that's what I think.
One way or the other.
One way or the other, you're going to decide to go, and most likely it's still going to be on Southwest. I like the idea of the reserve seating. I just don't have to worry about, get on your line, get in front of them. Well, are you 14? I'm 13. Let me in front of you.
The only thing that I will miss about that, because you know how much I hate it.
Yes.
You know that I will no longer get to make the mooing sounds.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you still can.
I
It just
can.
now doesn't have
It's
any
just-
context.
Yes.
Last night, Sam, I told you I peeked in early during the game just to get a look at the optics, and then I decided to kick it old school. I was trying not to take more than my fair share out of the trough for others that you wanted to see it. So,
Did the closed circuit work for you?
Yeah, it did work.
Okay.
Yeah, but I felt like I might have been making matters worse. So I decided that I was going to use the trusty K105 app, which is very good and sounded good, etc. I should say ahead of time that Gertie and I have very similar diets in that we're both fans of hard-boiled eggs because we've both been trying very hard to have good sources of protein in our diet. That a year or so ago, Gertie was having hard-boiled eggs for breakfast, and I decided I like that idea. So Gertie and I, we have that in common. Well, last night it was time for the eggs to be boiled in preparation to do meal prep for the next week. And so we have a strategy, like when we buy eggs, they have to age a certain amount so that they peel better.
That's okay. There's a mouse in his pocket. Okay.
We being as a household, in order to make the eggs peel better, you can't take them right from the store and boil them and go out there. You have to. They kind of go into a holding process. They age for about a week, and then you can use them, etc. So we always have some in the hopper. That makes sense. We're always aging some eggs.
First in,
And we
first
happen
out. Yeah.
That's right. We happen to buy them by the dozen and a half as well. Well, last night at halftime of the game, I decided that I needed to.
Okay. Time out. I am downstairs working diligently, okay, on other things. I am nowhere near said eggs. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Then that was, as it turns out to be, that was an issue because I lost my security blanket. So
I think I know where this is going.
I was enjoying the game, and we have an outdoor living space that we just call the porch. So I was enjoying the game there. And it was exciting. It's like halftime. Jack hit that 3 at the end. And it was like, we're up 3. It's like, okay, I like the way things are going. I enjoyed the halftime show, went in, decided we need to boil the eggs. Because poor Gertie, she doesn't need to starve. Clearly all about Gertie. So I noticed, though, at the end, so I went back outside, and I enjoyed the second half, and I got engrossed in coverage of the game. It was exciting. Davis County pulled ahead. It's like, oh no, et cetera. But I was so enthralled with what was going on. About the time that the game was over, I think the game actually was over. I heard a stirring in the kitchen, and I thought, well, Miss Buckles is in there. She's chopping something up, or she's unloading the dishwasher, or whatever it might be. And then it occurred to me, oh no, something is wrong. I went in, and 18 eggs had boiled to the point where all the water was dry. The bottom of the pan was black. Eggs had exploded all over the backsplash.
Did you take a photo? I never asked that.
I did not.
Oh.
But the mess was one thing. But the humanity of losing $8 worth of eggs
Yes.
was just more than I could bear. And Sam, I blame it on your engaging coverage.
Can we
You
blame it
had
on
me-
Steven?
You had me so enthralled with what was going on.
Poor
that I
Gertie.
completely.
Well, and he comes downstairs, and I'm like, I wondered what was going on up there. I was like,
Sounded
they're
like a-
dancing or something. I don't know.
Sounded like a war zone.
Oh.
The humanity of the eggs. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Today's Did You Know? Coming up here on In the Know.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With private healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-961-1527. That's 800-961-1527. 800-961-1527.
K105 weather from the Wave Storm Tracking Team is brought to you by Smith Overhead Door, SOHD.info.
Twin Lakes weather. Sunny today with highs in the 70s. For tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with highs back into the 70s. But we're going to add in that potential for a couple of spotty showers and thunderstorms for the second half of the day. Once we head into your Friday, we have the sunshine back with highs well into the mid to upper 70s. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrews.
Hi, this is Gina Leslie with Tom Baxter Real Estate, and I'm in the know. Call me after the show at 217-721-0034 and let me sell the home you've outgrown or find the home of your dreams. Now back to In the Know on K105.
Did you know the total weight of all air on Earth is 11 quintillion pounds?
I wonder how much we contribute to that.
It's
A lot of air around.
stealing a lot of the hot air. Yeah, 11 quintillion pounds is what the air on Earth weighs.
There's quite a bit that comes out during this show.
That's true.
But,
I should say they're already gone. I didn't give them a heads up, but our friends over on the Moose, they're off to the Sweet 16. Coverage of the girls' Sweet 16 from Lexington is underway and will be 4 games today on 103.9 The Moose and 870 AM and on the WMTL app. I guess you're getting to hear probably our pal Carl Nathy.
No, Carl's not doing the girls' Sweet 16 this year.
No Carl this year?
No, I don't believe so. I believe it's Scott Thompson that's doing the sideline.
Oh, I need to send Carl a text.
At least I don't know if Carl's role has changed and maybe he's just doing the boys, or I hope, because I mean I don't know that you can have a Sweet 16 without Carl Nathy.
That's true. Come on, slacker.
But yeah, go Lady Jags though this week.
Yeah. Oh, yes. But I think we don't have time to really talk about it today. But what is the so anyway? The coverage of the Sweet 16 over the next 4 days, and then a break next week, and then the Boys 16 the following. So at 9:45 each morning, today, tomorrow, and Friday, our Moose listeners will be going to the Sweet 16. Just flip over to 104.9 or our YouTube channel or whatever if you want to stay with the show. Sam, what do you have a brief thought on the controversy with Cooper?
Yeah, it's weird because I mean, Sully, who's their boys coach, he was coach when I was there. I mean, a decade ago. He's been their only head coach. Very well liked. Very well liked. And the principal, though, was the principal there when I was there. The athletic director was the athletic director there when I was there. So there's been a lot of, and I don't know if it's just one of those things when you work together for as long as they have, sometimes something's inevitably to pop up.
Yeah.
And I haven't had the time to really get into the grit
You're not
of it.
sure you're not sure whose team you're on yet.
I think I'm Team Sully.
Okay. All right.
I think I'm Team Sullivan. From what I've been able to pick up, it sounds like I am Team Sullivan, and I hope he wins out because also he's had a lot of success as a basketball coach, and I like cheering on them from afar.
Billy Joel has delayed. He's postponed his tour dates following surgery. Says my health must come first. He has postponed his current tour for 4 months due to an undisclosed medical condition. I don't know that I've ever gotten seriously close to pulling the trigger on seeing Billy Joel, but it's a bucket list item. I'd love to see him. I wanted to see him at MSG.
I keep waiting for
but I'm not gonna.
Well, you could make the trip up to Paycor. I believe he's going to be at Paycor Stadium in September.
Yeah, and that's when I thought, when I saw that date, I was like, well, that's doable. You know, stadium show, like, would be fine. It's not MSG, but okay. But then again, I don't know how close I got to again committing to it, but I considered it at least for a moment, and now come to find out I wasn't going to get to go anyway because his tour has been delayed by 4 months. I don't know what they're doing with the dates on how they're going to do that. Well, although maybe they'll keep that date. It says the tour is going to resume at Acrisure in Sam's favorite town of Pittsburgh, PA, on July 5th. So maybe they'll just.
I hope they're not just delaying it all 4 months because if that goes to the middle of January, that's going to be maybe a little cold concert outside in Cincinnati.
They'll take these 4 months and they'll probably shift them to sometime next year, maybe in spring of 2026.
Yeah, because I don't know that there's many concerts you'd want to go to in Cincinnati outside in the middle of January.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus's bid to dismiss the Flowers lawsuit is challenged by the judge. As far as I'm concerned, that song is so unique. It's her song and no one else's. So I'm on team. You probably won't hear me say that a lot. I'm on team Miley in this case. I hope she's victorious in that. And then what else? Oh, Severance is reportedly making viewers' dogs freak out. One person said, I think my dog is afraid of Severance is the name of the thread, with pet owners detailing their pooch's odd reactions whenever the hit program starring Adam Scott and Patricia Arquette is on the screen. One person says her dog will start pacing, whining, and crying and hiding in the other room whenever the show is on. Me too.
I know, I'm like, wait a minute. Hang on.
It must be part canine.
Something is up.
I just don't get it.
I don't know how this
There
is.
must be something wrong with it. You know how dogs can sense
Yes.
things? Dogs have that sense. If dogs are bothered by Severance, it explains why I am too. We got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the morning here on In the Know.
Some people say the definition of marriage should be, well, anything we want it to be. No exclusions, no boundaries. The problem with that idea is the fabric of reality itself. Marriage was created with a particular design because it's powerful, so powerful that we need guardrails to channel its influence. To understand what I mean, consider how electrical cords on most of the lamps, TVs, and small appliances in your home are designed. You'll notice that one prong is wider than the other. That small difference makes sure that you can only plug in the cord one way. Why? Safety, of course. Electricity is powerful. It can bring your entire household to life, but it's also dangerous. Misuse it and it can kill you. Manufacturers protect us by designing a boundary right into the cord itself. The same is true of marriage. It's a powerful force in our culture. When it's done well, it unites a man and a woman as one. It also allows children to grow up with the positive influence of both a mother and a father. But when marriage is mistreated or minimized, things go horribly wrong, which is why marriage needs boundaries to protect it, both within our home and within our culture. Our collective mission as a nation shouldn't be to destroy the foundation of marriage and render it meaningless, but to support healthy relationships and healthy families in every way possible. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten. Without Trinity's support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
Ever feel like your home could use a fresh touch, but your wallet says otherwise? Discover hidden treasures at Thrift Therapy, where style meets savings. From chic apparel in all sizes to unique home decor and furniture, you'll find everything to refresh your look and space without breaking the bank. Located behind the car wash in Litchfield, Thrift Therapy, because everyone deserves a little retail therapy. Open Wednesday through Friday 10 to 5, Saturdays 10 to 4, behind the car wash in Litchfield.
MB's Point of Ponder for today. What's the most boring sport? And what would you do to make it more exciting? What's the most boring sport and what would you do to make it more exciting?
Okay. I feel like this is directed toward me.
No, it's not at all.
Okay, well, let's let Sam go first.
I guess I have to say soccer.
Oh.
I was going to say soccer.
Okay.
I just...
Odd man out on that one.
It's a tough sport to watch on TV.
Okay.
Because to me, what makes soccer is atmospheres. Where if you go to a professional game, you're in the atmosphere and everybody's into it together and you get that sense of community. Whereas on TV, you don't necessarily get that. Like, I'll watch it during the World Cup, but I'm not, I don't know, I'm not one that's going to flip it on, to watch the Premier League on a Saturday morning.
I probably wouldn't say that just simply for nostalgia purposes because using my quote fingers, I coached for however many years, those poor children. So I find baseball to be boring, but golf is going to be more boring than that. And what would I do to make it better? So I guess we're watching these on TV?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's nothing you can do to fix the golf for me if we're watching it on TV. I don't think. If I were actually there, I'm going to need like food and like other entertainment.
Good for you, there is. When you're actually there.
Okay, never mind. I really am going to be quiet now because you're going to find a way for me to end up at a baseball game or at a golf tournament or some kind of
I think you're going to like
something.
my answer about soccer because you may take it to baseball.
Oh, okay.
And that might be.
Okay.
So, Sam, what you're saying is you don't sit in your living room and do ole, ole,
Yeah.
You don't do that?
And as far as like sports to broadcast, soccer is one that but also I usually do it solo and it's really hard to do soccer solo.
Cheerleaders, like for the sports.
Or vuvuzelas or something, like.
Yeah, like I'm going to need some cheerleaders or something.
Okay, so here's what I would do to soccer. There are big lulls in soccer. Like the action when they get near the goals, like exciting. But so much of the, 90 minutes is just like,
Just played the midfield.
Yes. I like the idea. So, I have family. And spent part of my early life on Sinks Road. And, in this part of the country, we have this because of the cave system underneath our portion of the earth here. I would like random sinkholes to open on the soccer pitch at various times, where you never quite know. Like all of a sudden, the ball changes directions because a sinkhole starts to open, and then they have to get creative to kick the ball out. And so there's an element of danger.
I could apply that to baseball and or golf. I was just having a conversation yesterday, I think, about whack-a-mole. You know, so it would be like the opposite of whack-a-mole. Instead of like, you know what I mean? Like you just fall in.
Right.
Instead of being beat over the head. I don't know.
You could add something else to the soccer. When the sinkholes open up to possibly swallow someone up, there could be the grapevines that are over the top of the sink. Like if they grab them and swing to the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't want everybody, you don't want him to die, but you want to make it more challenging. You say, oh, here's an element of super. So it's kind of like American Teenage Ninja Warrior. Is that a show?
I don't know.
So anyway, those obstacle shows that they have,
Wipeout?
they get hit. Yeah, they get hit in the head with stuff, or they get knocked off in the water. It's adding an element of that type of thing to it. That's what I would do.
Well, I know I've seen even that they like to cut the soccer field and do it in half, make it like half the size.
Yeah.
To put more action into the middle.
Mine's soccer. So.
Or like when I was a kid, they could just play like these soccer matches on busy streets, where they car.
Frogger.
Yeah, like add Frogger. And then but there was the quicksand and the vines where you had to jump over. Nutty Professor had that game on his Atari when he was a kid, because I would play it it was the guy, he was going through the jungle and the alligators could bite you, and then you could grab the grapevine and swing over the quicksand. And he'll weigh in and tell us what the game was. I can't remember. On TV tonight, I guess we don't have to be in that big of a hurry because the Moose audience is already on the Sweet 16. By the way, I learned The Neighborhood is coming back for its 8th and final season. So it's something I really like on TV. But I was unsure whether they were going to go another season, but they are. The Masked Singer is on Fox. Celebrity Jeopardy is on ABC. Abbott Elementary is on ABC. And CBS has The Amazing Race. And I presume CBS has Survivor. Sam, you're smirking.
No, we've got an interesting Facebook comment here.
Okay.
I could read it to you, but I don't speak that language.
Okay, nah, don't bother.
Oh.
Today's highlight in history, this day, 1930, Mohandas Gandhi began his 24-day, 240-mile salt march to the Indian village of Dandi.
It's apparently Indonesian.
Oh, yeah. I don't.
Do you speak Indonesian?
Indochina was the correct response on Jeopardy last night. Liza Minnelli is 79 today. Mitt Romney is 78. I met Mitt Romney in the Senate office building one day, and he is much smaller than he appears on TV.
Rand Paul is the same way.
He is, that's right.
Rand Paul
James
is very
Taylor,
small.
Marco Rubio, too. James Taylor is 77. Marlon Jackson of the Jackson 5 is 68. Courtney B. Vance is 65. Aaron Eckhart is 57. Jake Tapper is 56. Gone but not forgotten. Hilltoppers, listen up. E.A. Diddle was born this date in 1895.
Here, I got it ready here. I got my towel.
You got your Edgar towel?
I'm gonna have to keep a little something over here.
759 of 1,061 games at WKU.
He probably doesn't want to talk about last night then.
No. And he went on in, by the way, 9 years before you were born, Miss Buckles. He died in 1970. Wally Schirra was born this date in 1923, and Al Jarreau was born this date in 1940. If you've ever heard the Moonlighting theme, you've heard Al Jarreau. Let's go to Chart Toppers. 1947, Dinah Shore, number 1. The anniversary song.
Oh, how we dance.
Thank you, Donna. Let's go to Perry Como in 1956. Oscar Mayer is Hot Dog Diggity. If you're not singing the Oscar Mayer version, you're doing it incorrectly. 1965, The Beatles, number 1. 8 days a week. This video is all about their trip to Shea Stadium when they did their big show in New York. Let's go. 1974, Kool and the Gang #1 with what I like to call Junga Boogie. Junga Boogie. All right, let's go forward to the 1980s. It was like a car crash. You couldn't look away. 1983.
Right.
I was like, boy, George? No, that's a boy? You wanted to look away, but you really couldn't. And you go, what?
Making more sense to you today?
Not really. Crying game to you. Let's go. 1992, Mr. Big #1.
My goodness gracious. Sakes alive.
To be with you.
Conservation Camp. Ed Darcy.
Ed Darst was in Mr. Big?
No,
Oh, okay,
he
just
was
checking.
the main dude
right.
at Conservation Camp. I had his daughter as a counselor.
24 years ago today. All right, let's go forward to, sorry. I don't know if we're allowed to do this anymore or not. We had to feel like somebody else instead. I bet I don't want to wake up like P. Diddy this morning. TikTok and Kesha. Anybody but P. Diddy today. And Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, Shallow, #1 in 2019. You know, I got really tired of this song when it was #1 because it was just everywhere. But I realize now how good it was.
So good.
Like when you
And
hear when you hear it now.
I don't jump on the wagon, but
Even Bradley Cooper could sing a little bit too.
Yeah.
He's not great, but
Well, and I like this part because this is the actual movie version where she's hesitant. You know, he brings her out on stage and she's unsure. And she kind of gets through this first verse like, I'm a little nervous and I'm not sure. And then she gets to the chorus though. And here it comes. That movie's so good. Still not the best song from the movie. Not the best one. Second best one. MD's Pearl of Wisdom for today. It's easier to prevent bad habits than to break them. It's easier to prevent bad habits than to break them. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
The Twin Lakes Best Mix is WKHG, Litchfield. The Twin Lakes